64 players, 16 groups, and anything can happen when the game's best go head-to-head in match play. The ping pong balls have determined the matchups. Now we are getting you set for the first round. Get your brackets ready. Golf Central starts right now.
Golf Central. Brought to you by Titleist.
Deep in the heart of Texas, you'll find the Lone Star State's capital city this week from Austin Country Club. 64 of the best players in the world will compete for the WGC Dell Match Play title. Here's how the format works. 64 players, they're split into 16 groups with 4 players each. Within each group, players compete against each other Wednesday through Friday. During the first 3 matches, a win is worth 1 full point. And for the first time, a match that is all square at the end of 18 holes will count as a tie, with a half point awarded to each player. The players with the most points in each group will advance the final round of 16 on Saturday. If players in any group are tied after 3 matches, a stroke playoff will determine who advances. And with that, we welcome you in Lisa Cornwell, Trip Eisenhower, Tim Rosafort. We're with you for the next 60 minutes here on Golf Central. Let's begin with the #1 overall seed, Jordan Spieth, and the 3 other players in his group. It was quite the scene when the bracket, guys, was unveiled last night. Let's take a listen.
In Jordan Spieth's group, the B player is none other than number 31, and that, of course, is Justin Thomas.
A lot of firepower in this group, Trip. We're kind of still reliving the magic of Ryan Burr and the ping pong balls, but that's for another show. But look at it. Jordan Spieth, Justin Thomas, Dewey Son, Jamie Donaldson. I mean, come on.
Well, yeah, look, this is a power-packed group. It's probably not the toughest group, but it certainly is an extremely difficult group to get out of.
Here's what Spieth had to say about the players he'll face in the round robin.
I thought it was a difficult group. I mean, there's no easy group, but I thought I got a difficult draw. Justin's a great player. We're going to have fun on Friday afternoon. Unfortunately, only one of us gets to advance because we normally would root for each other to do so. Victor, obviously, with success in this tournament, and I think with tougher conditions, it's an advantage to him. It's advantage to his game, right? I mean, he's Seve-like in what he can do around the greens. And then I've watched Jamie, I firsthand watched Jamie in that final match of the Ryder Cup. So, you know, a tough match play bracket.
It's a really good group. I mean, everyone keeps making such a big deal about that Friday match, but we both, and myself included, we have really 2 hard matches before that. So, you know, all of us are good players, and we all want to get out, and it's going to be tough. So it'd be cool, you know, if it came down to Friday's match. But we got 2, and myself, I have 2 very important matches before that.
Rosie, very interesting here with both of these really good friends being in the same group. You know Jordan's pedigree and everything that he's done, but Justin, it has to be a bit of a motivating factor for him, wouldn't you think?
Well, first of all, it was interesting, Lisa. I thought that the crowd reacted the way they did. Very golf savvy. I mean, whether probably a byproduct of social media. They probably read Twitter. They know that these 2 guys have been buddies for a long time, rivals. I guess you can put maybe quotes around rivals, how they like pranking each other. And really, as it relates to, you know, who's on top, it's hard to surpass what Jordan has done at this point in his career. But this is a friendship that goes back to when they were 12 years old, when they were playing AJGA events, when they were in France together. And here's Justin with the cheeseburger in his mouth. There's a lot in it. It's going to be fun, but at the same time, you just heard both guys saying that come Friday, Trip, that, you know, some of the reaction to it may be a little bit too much. It might be over at that point in time for one of the 2.
Well, but here's what I think. If we look at where golf is with some of the top players, this is a little bit different era than a Tiger Woods, and you know, sometimes had that cold standoff. And he had friends on tour, don't get me wrong, but it was very clear that when he stood on that tee, what he wanted to do to you as a player. The guys at the top, and I speak about Rory, Jason, and Justin, but Justin Thomas is one of the these guys that's going to be part of the U.S. Ryder Cup scene for a long, long time. They're really get along off the golf course. They're good friends. So this is great to see because golf is a gentleman's game. And if you and I go play the game and you beat me, shake your hand, say, hey, gave it the best I could, and I wish you the best of luck. That is great sportsmanship. And this game has exhibited it over the years. And right now it's got some stewards at the top of the game that it just exhibit that kind of just gentlemanliness on and off the golf course. And it's great to see. But it's going to be fun. And trust me, when they step on that tee on Friday, they want to beat each other's brains out, but they will be a gentleman and shake their hand to the winner. And congrats. And I'm sure there'll be some hazing on Twitter a little bit as well.
Just a little bit.
No,
Just
we'll see hazing on camera with those two guys.
Well, that's probably, yeah.
Justin Thomas, there's no way he's letting that go. We'll see.
They were going to shave their heads last week. Maybe the loser shaves their head, for crying out loud.
From world number 1 to world number 2, Jason Day is the man to beat in Group 2. But don't overlook any of the other players on this list. Paul Casey, Tongchai JD, Graham McDowell, he's a major champion. Let's listen into a portion of Jason Day's session with the media from earlier today.
I think it's good that I have really tough opponents. And I'm not saying that anyone else is, good or bad in this field, because everyone's good and they deserve to be here. And anyone can play well on any given day. But knowing they have a record, especially with Paul and Graham, I'm not too sure what Tongchai's record is, but once again, you can't underestimate anyone. You got 18 holes, you got to go out there and beat him. And you're playing the guy across the tee from you, and you have to go out there and be aggressive and try and beat him. I don't give away too many putts. I think over time I've become a lot softer. A lot softer in my match play. So yeah, last time I didn't give Casey a 1-foot putt, and he got angry at me, and I could tell that he was angry because he gave me a death stare from across the putting green. So what that ended up doing is I think I won the next couple of holes and closed him out, which was great. I just assume that I'm going out and holing every single putt and putting in every single putt. Don't assume that you're going to go in there and people are going to give you a foot putt, because if it's in the rules where you don't have to give them a putt, then you don't have to. So I'm assuming that I'm going to go out there and have to hole every single putt, and then I'm not going to be surprised by someone going, okay, you have to putt that. You know what I mean? So it's going to be fun playing against Paul. Because, once again, I think he's had 4 top 5 finishes in match play. This format brings the best out in him, and he's got to be a very tough opponent.
You mentioned you're a bit softer on the putts these days. If there's another 12-inch putt on Friday...
12 inches is stretching it, mate. I don't know, I think.
As you can see, these 4 players in this group, well, they aren't afraid of match play. Obviously, Jason Day, a winner here in 2014. Paul Casey, a 2-time runner-up. He is 20-10 overall. JD, he in 2013 was the runner-up in the Volvo World Match Play, an event that Graham McDowell captured that very same year. As for world number 3, Rory McIlroy, he won the inaugural WGC Dell Match Play under its current round-robin format last year at TPC Harding Park in San Francisco. McIlroy defeated Gary Woodland 4-2 in the final. He talked about his motivation to defend his title and earn a win before the Masters, much like several top-ranked players have already accomplished so far in 2016.
I feel like I'm close. I'm probably not quite where they are, and I haven't had the confidence of getting a win this year, but I feel like it's close, and this would be obviously a great week to get that win, or at least get close to that win if I can get a few really good matches under my belt and progress to the weekend and play some good golf. I feel like that's all I need, confidence-wise, going into Augusta.
Rory, do you approach match play events any different to a regular stroke play event?
I do approach them differently. I mean, a regular stroke play event is 72 holes. It is more like a marathon. It's more, you can sort of play your way into rhythm, and you can be more conservative from time to time and know that pars are good. But in match play, you have to be aggressive from the start. You have to react to what your opponent does. So I approach it very differently. They're 2 completely different formats of the game.
Trip, as we take a look at the entire group here, just your thoughts on the third
Well,
set.
look, people might say, well, this is going to be McIlroy marching to Saturday, but look out for Kevin Na. Got a great short game, and the wind's going to be blowing. He's going to need that, and then he could be a spoiler for Rory.
All right, for more on this event, we say hello to Todd Lewis, who joins us live from Austin Country Club. Todd, what are some of the other players hoping to take this title like McElroy did last year? What are they saying about their Wednesday matches?
Well, it depends on who you ask, Lisa, because there are a lot of ways to approach match play. The mission for players in the field today, though, familiarizing themselves with this very unique hilly peak dye layout. This golf course is not very long, and I talked to a lot of players today, and every player said that they really like this golf course that fits every style of play. But players will not only be tackling this golf course, they'll be facing an opponent one at a time. Everyone in the field of 64 will. And because of that, there is a shift in mentality compared to a stroke play event.
You want to just play good, solid golf and not give any holes away, but sometimes you've got to take on a little bit of risk and try to win the match. But the thing about match plays, it's basically a final round. It's a Sunday final round where you start out square, and so you feel the pressure every single shot from start to finish. It's a great way to get competitively sharp.
You got a game plan for what you want to do for the day, but you definitely have to be ready to kind of jump off that game plan if you need to. So it's definitely a different mentality, and it's a lot of fun. You know, you like to get in there and looking somebody square in the eye and knowing you have to beat them that day. That's kind of what we grew up doing out here, so we love doing it.
The mindset's different. The golf course is always the challenge week in, week out. You know, you're going to have to play 72 holes on a track, and you're out there trying to work out what the puzzle's all about. This week it's a bit different. You know that the puzzle's going to be the guy standing at the other side of the tee box.
Week in, week out, we play a stroke play, and you're just playing against the golf course and trying to shoot under par and move up the leaderboard. But you know, in match play, you're trying to play against the guy and the fellow, whoever you're playing against. And on a course like this, it's going to be fairly, it'd be interesting to see what the scores are like.
The golf course has a lot to do with it. If you look at my record going back to La Costa, when I first got into the WGCs, I couldn't get past the first round. And as soon as we moved to Tucson, Marana, I had a very good record, partly because I know how to play desert golf, and the golf course just suited me. So I'm fingers crossed Austin Country Club is to my liking.
We still try to play the golf course. I mean, you still got to play within yourself. I mean, there's certain situations where you may alter a line, or you may alter a conservative or aggressive, shot. But for the most part, you still got to play. I mean, especially early on in the day. I don't think there's really no secret to it. I mean, it's a beautiful thing, if anything. I mean, just because we get so caught up in the monotony of metal stroke play, right, that a little match play every now and again is fun.
Players really do enjoy this format, this round-robin pool format, because it offers them an opportunity to play 3 competitive days of golf. And for those getting their game sharp for the Masters, which is just over 2 weeks away, this is a great week. However, tomorrow, well, the weather could be a factor. Slight chance of thunderstorms, Lisa, but winds, well, they will be blowing here, as they often do in Austin, Texas, 15 to 25 miles per hour, with gusts even higher. One of the most interesting days in golf got a little more interesting thanks to the elements.
Todd, thank you very much. You have to wonder if it'll favor those Texas boys like Jordan Spieth, Jimmy Walker. Well, Match Play Madness comes to you live from Austin, Texas, where 64 players will vie for the championship, but only one will remain standing. Our coverage of the WGC Dell Match Play begins Wednesday at 2 p.m. on Golf Channel and continues Saturday at 2 Eastern on NBC. It's also available streaming with the Golf Live Extra app. While golf is a business for many of us, days like today remind us that it is still a game. An absolute tragedy with the early morning terrorist attacks in Brussels. Outreach from players have been pouring in across the globe on Twitter in support of the victims and their families. Thomas Peters, who is from Belgium, addressed the media this afternoon.
Everybody was telling me, like, is your family okay? And then kind of, knew what was going on. So I opened the news sites, and just, one of the worst days to wake up. It's just, even when it happened in Paris, it's close, but it's not right, near your people. And now it happens in somewhere where I go almost, every time I fly out, that's where I go. And then it's shocking to see the images and, the videos, and, it's a sad day, yeah.
It must really put this golf tournament in perspective for you.
Yeah, I'm not going to moan this week, that's for sure. It's just tough to just understand. I just don't get it, by just so many innocent people. It's just it's frustrating.
It certainly is, and we extend our thoughts and prayers to the people in Brussels, most importantly the victims and their loved ones. We'll be right back.